Hey guys, Jonathan here, and thank you for joining me today at Night Knowledge. We're going to try something new and something that I think will be unique to YouTube videos on board games, and that is a strategic analysis. Most of the time, when you're the guest of a game, the host has a natural advantage. So a video such as this will help you become more familiar with the game and possibly gravitate toward a strategy that might help you win. One of the major strategies in Clank is reducing the amount of damage you take. The less damage you take, the longer you can play, the less stressful it is, and the less hurried your gameplay will be. And you will be able to have a much more defined strategy. So we do this by getting cards that reduce Clank. A strategy that reduces Clank should always be coupled with another strategy. You can't just revolve it around reducing Clank, because as you can see, these are the major or only cards that reduce Clank, which is, I would say, less than 5% of the cards. One thing to remember is by taking these cards, you deny your opponents the ability to reduce Clank, which is always a good thing. You reduce Clank and most likely they will accumulate more Clank, which means that they'll take more damage, you'll take less damage. The next major strategy revolves around movement. Getting movement cards is good at all stages of the game. In the early game, you can pick up major and minor secrets first, which are beneficial. In mid-game, you can get a good artifact, and at the end game you can ensure you get a mastery token by getting back to the flag room, or worst case scenario, end up with a ton of loot and die above the grass line, meaning your points count. Going back to picking up major and minor secrets, there are 9 out of 11 major secrets that will be in every game, at least on the first board, and 2 out of 3 of those major secrets are chalices worth 7 points each. For minor secrets, 9 out of 18 minor secrets will be used in every game, 3 of which are dragon eggs. But even though the rest of these major and minor secrets don't give you points, they do various other things, including giving you extra money, giving you gems, giving you health back, giving you swords and movement, all which are very valuable. And unlike shrines, which are the purple cards, you can use them at any time. As you can see from these cards, sneak and move silently works well with your Clank or your Clank reduction strategy. Basically, whenever you see the flying carpet or the boots of swiftness, those should be priority targets. As you can see, they give you a lot of movement and they also do special things. Basically, Boots of Swiftness gives you an additional movement that turn and gives you the most amount of movement of any card. And the Flying Carpet allows you to ignore monsters in tunnels and you don't have to stop in crystal caves, which is both good at getting the higher end artifacts and when you try to run back to the flag room. If you don't see any of these blue movement cards in the early games and you're trying to concentrate on a movement based strategy, you can always purchase explorers from the purchase deck. The movement strategy lends well to a gold making strategy. Money is points at the end of the game, and it allows you to be more flexible in that you can purchase crowns for direct points. You can purchase backpacks which allow you to hold 2 artifacts, essentially doubling your point score and at the same time denying your opponents from possibly getting an artifact. And finally, you can use gold to purchase keys which will allow you to move through passages, which basically means that you're moving faster through the dungeon and also accessing places that people without keys cannot get. And some of the most valuable artifacts are behind keys, or the shortcut is through using a key. In the bottom left, you'll see that there's the search and the explore card. You'll see that the search is essentially an explore card that costs more, but what's special about it is that it gives you an additional gold anytime you're gaining gold that turn. The best money-making card in the game is Treasure Map, as you can see in the top left, giving you 5 gold. That should be a priority target if you're going for the gold strategy or just to deny other players. Part of moving around efficiently is not only having movement-based cards, but also having cards with the sword symbol or the attack symbol. As you can see, the main ways to obtain attack cards is by purchasing the mercenary, purchasing blue weapons, as you can see the pickaxe, silver spear, and singing sword, even I guess the elven dagger, and finally getting companions. The reason why an attack strategy is a viable strategy is because even if there are no monsters on the field to attack, there's always the goblin, as you can see in the top right. You can defeat the goblin as many times as you have enough attack symbols. This will give you gold, and gold, as we talked about before, allows you to purchase stuff from the market, and even if you don't have enough gold to purchase, at the end of the game, gold is worth points. The other major reason we would be getting attack cards is because it allows you to move between rooms with the monster head symbol without taking damage. The most valuable artifacts are found behind rooms with monster heads, meaning that if you don't have the appropriate amount of attack, you're taking damage, and usually you're taking double damage because you're taking damage walking into the room and you're taking damage going out of the room. So in some cases you're taking up to 4 damage, which is 40% of your health. Now looking closer at these cards, obviously the mercenary is great for early game or when you don't see any of these type of cards on the market deck. As you can see from most of the companions here, they are usually cheap to purchase, but at the same time they're not worth too much, or they're not worth too many points at the end of the game, denoted by the green numbered symbol in the top right of the card. If you can, you should always try to get a weapon, which is found in the middle here, either the silver spear, singing sword, or pickaxe, as they give you more attack symbols, are worth more points, and they don't clog up your deck with unnecessary cards. Remember, an efficient deck is a better deck. So these are the monsters that are in the basic deck of Clank. And as you can see, about half of them require 2 swords at least to defeat, while the other half require 3 or more attack cards to defeat. The red cards occupy roughly 20% of the deck, so there's always a high chance that monsters will be out there. And the rewards, although one time used, they are quite strong. For example, just looking at the Orc Grunt, instead of having to defeat the Goblin for 2 swords and only getting 1 gold, if you defeat the Orc Grunt, you'll get 3 gold instead. And although 3 gold doesn't sound like very much, because it's only 3 points, 3 gold is 3 gold closer to having 7 gold, which allows you to buy either the crown, the key, or the backpack. And as we talked about, that is always a good thing. One of the cards people tend to avoid is the Belcher, because although it's easy to defeat and you get 4 gold, it also gives you 2 Clank. But if maybe you were going for the minus Clank strategy, then this might be something that isn't as detrimental to you, and you're also getting 4 gold. 2 standout monster cards that I like to go for is in the bottom area, the Watcher and the Ogre. They both require 3 attacks, but they give you really great rewards. The Watcher will give you 3 gold and give everyone else +1 Clank. For the Ogre, it gives you 5 gold, which is so good. A strong strategy that I enjoy is the companion strategy. As you can see here, these are all the companion cards. Approximately 20 to 25% of the deck is comprised of companion cards. There are quite a few benefits to these companion cards, including the ability to draw a card if you have another companion. They also are a good source of gaining additional gems. I also like how they are typically low costing cards, so you can almost always afford them. And if you look at every single one except for the mercenary, of course, they all provide additional end game points, ranging from 1 to about 3. I put the standout companion cards in the bottom row. Starting from the left, we have the Apothecary. I like this card because you discard a card which might not be very powerful, and instead you get 3 swords or 2 gold, or you recover a health, which gives you a lot of flexibility. I really like the Gem Collector because although it costs a lot at 4 gems, it gives you 2 points, it gives you 2 gems, it reduces Clank, and gems cost 2 less this turn. So essentially, it's worth 4 gems. Along the lines of flexibility, Mr. Whiskers is a great card in that it can either cause the dragon to attack, or you can reduce your Clank. In a strategy where you have minimized the amount of Clank that you have obtained, you can make the dragon attack and cause your opponents to take more damage. Remembering, when you cause your opponents to take more damage, they may take riskier or lower point strategies, which means that you can pursue your higher point strategy. The only dangerous or card that you might want to avoid is the one in the bottom right, the Monkeybot 3000. While it allows you to draw 3 cards, it gives you 3 Clank each time you draw it, so it might be too risky to obtain. The last major Clank strategy that we'll talk about today is the ability to draw cards. This is a strong strategy because it gives you more options per turn. You'll be able to move more, you'll be able to attack more, you'll generate more options. The only drawback is that these are typically expensive cards, ranging on average 3+ gems. The standout card from here is Brilliance over here. It is the most expensive card, but it also allows you to draw 3 cards. If you see Brilliance, it's highly recommended to take that, or possibly the Bracers of Agility over here on the top left, as it allows you to draw 2 cards and it gives you 2 points at the end of the game. So to recap on the major strategies of Clank, we have reducing Clank, movement, increasing the money gained, using attack cards, using companions, and having card advantage. If you see these cards drop on the board, it's always a good idea to obtain. This concludes my Clank strategy video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what are your favorite strategies. But for now, see you next time.